Right, so I just thought I'd show you this more out of interest, and if you want to see a full video of us changing the cam belt on one of our 45s or 75s with the K series engine twin cam, then we've got a full video. But we're changing this belt as it's coming up probably about 8.5 years, and I think they sort of recommend they're changed after so many miles, or around 7 to 10 years. So we're being sure and changing it now, because it's certainly not done the mileage, but in age it probably does need changing. But we found something a little bit interesting with this one. As you can see, we've got it timed up, and we cover how to time it in our video, but you can see there we've got it timed up, and we've got the little lines there that you can just see marked with a little bit of white paint, just so you can see those proper timing marks a little bit easier. And we've got the locking tool in, so that's all lined up at the top. And then when you come to the bottom, we've already got the pulley out, and you can check the time marks with the pulley on the cover, but it's very difficult to see. If I show you this here, there's the cover, and if I just put the pulley there, when you've got the top marks lined up, this pulley here with that proper timing mark we've marked with a little yellow marker pen on the pulley should line up with this plastic line there. And what we found is it was sitting just off. And if we come down here, we like to always use this as well. Once you've got the pulley off, you can see here there's like two little dots there in the teeth, and then you can see there's like a little ridge there. If I get my fingers up in there, there's like a little line there in the casting. Well, those two little dots should line up with that mark, and as you can see they're not, so it's almost if it focuses there, it's almost kind of you've got to get the camera positioned right, but it's almost a tooth and a half out of line. So we don't know whether during the time the cam belt's been done, for some reason the tensioner has let the belt move slightly, or it's actually scratched because it is now getting older. We're not sure, but it has been running. We do think it does seem slightly underpowered to the other ones when it's been driven, but it certainly hasn't run with any problems. So we just thought we'd show you that to show that's what we've found. And if you sort of find that is something perhaps you can get. Now, we've never found that before, and all the ones we've done, the time marks have always lined up, and this is the first time we've come across one where it was done properly at the time. It's the first time we've come across it like that, so I just thought I'd show you that, and show that as far as we know, unless it suddenly slipped in the last time it was started, it has actually run like that as well. But yeah, we just thought we'd show you that as a bit of interest. Right, so if I come back up to the top just to end things off, yeah, so as I said, I thought it was worth covering, and we also thought it was worth adding. This is why it's always worth checking something before you start stripping something down. We always check all the timing to see if there is a problem or something has gone wrong before we take that belt off. And what we will do is put it back into time, that bottom part, before we put the new belt on, and obviously turn it round a few times like we've shown you in the original video to check that it's not slipping out of time, and we'll cover all that as well. But yeah, we thought it was a good chance to show you this as we found it, and to show you why it's always worth checking everything first, so you know if there's a problem before you start. And obviously if we have problems, we know it might not just be us, there's already a problem there. Yeah, so we've got the belt off now, and I just thought I'd show you that how actually it's looking very sort of dirty and almost rusty looking as well. So there's quite a bit of debris in there, and although in some ways it's not quite as worn as other belts, it's there's still wear there that you can see, although it feels fairly flexible still. That still looks a little bit worn. If we come over to the actual water pump down there, and the two top wheels, they are quite sort of dusty and the dirt as well, so that's why it's worth cleaning them up. With the water pump, as you will see in our main videos, we always say it's worth changing, so that'll be new, but the rest of the teeth do need cleaning up, and of course the tensioner will be there. I was just going to add what we did when we first found it slightly out of time. We were getting near the end of the day, and where we were originally going to just take the belt off and try and get it cleaned up, we left it at that stage and give ourselves time to have a look through the manual, think about it and come back to it, which I think is another thing that's worth doing if you've got time. If you find a problem, then take some time away to think about it and research it, and come back with sort of fresh eyes before you make any rash decisions as well. And what we'll do now, we'll get on with the job, and then hopefully I can show you once the new belt's on and it's then all back in proper time, and we've done our checks and turned the engine over a couple of times to check the belt stays in time as well. Right, so we've now got the new belt on. So what we've done is now got it timed up right. It's only very slightly out, but more out than we've ever found one before, and that's actually on cars we've never touched and cars we have done. Whenever we've redone a cam belt when it's needed doing, they've always been in line up until this one that was kind of, was it about sort of 2 teeth, 1 and a bit out. Probably more the 2 teeth, but as you can see, we've got it in line with our little cam locking tool at the top, which was never really a problem when that lined up. It was down the bottom, it didn't, and it was the bottom we've now got back in line. So if we now come down to the bottom, and now hopefully you can see, it's a job to get the phone in the right position, but you can now see that the 2 little dots which we've marked red now line up with that line, so it is now back lined up. And what we're going to do is turn it round a few times and just check it stays lined up, and that will then let us know it is back in time. And I just thought I'd cover this because it is interesting even for us, because as I said, when we've ever changed the cam belt before, they've never been that much out of line. Sometimes they're just slightly out, but they've never been that much. Whether we've done it and then 6 years later changed it, or had to change it for a head gasket, or whatever reason we've needed to change the cam. But I think we once changed one because the water pump was leaking, but they've always roughly lined up apart from this one. But the engine was still running, so we don't know if it was the belt getting worn or had stretched, or whether it had always been slightly out and run. But I thought it was just worth covering, so we just turn it round now and I'll show the belt being hand turned, and then we can finish this little video off. So as you can see here, what we're doing is just hand turn, and you normally always do this and go round 2 turns at the top, and then check it's back in line, and we may do that another 2 turns as well, just to be definitely sure. As you can see there, we're just turning it by hand from the crankshaft pulley down there. Right, so I've now put the locking tool back in after we've been turning it, and you can see there it's lined up with the markings there on the pulleys. And then if we come down here, and it's a job, we were just saying that really it depends in some ways where you put your head. As you see, as I move the camera, those dots line up and then don't necessarily line up, so you have to kind of get yourself in the right position, work out roughly where you should be, and then they do line up with that line, as you can see. So we are now happy that it's in time. All we can do perhaps is keep an eye on this one and hope that it was just the belt had slightly stretched and put it very slightly out. The engine was still running, as we said, so as far as we know, no damage has been done, but we thought we'd cover it just to show that sort of change and how we found it this time, which we've never really found before on them, and how we've put the new belt on and got it back in time. And when you turn it by hand, we've done it more than the manual says, and stopped and lined it all back up just to make sure it still keeps lining up. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, and as always, don't forget to check out our other videos. As always, thank you very much for watching. So I just thought I'd add this at the end of the video. There's the engine running. Now we've got the new timing belt in and got the timing back as it was. But yeah, just thought it'd be interesting to cover that.